Hi there, I'm Welmoed. That's spelled Welmoed. And I know it's hard to pronounce, but if people can learn how to pronounce Gary Vaynerchuk's name, I'm sure they can learn how to pronounce mine over time as well. So there you go. What I do in my business, I explain techie things in plain language so that everyone can understand. So I have online trainings available for business owners that want to learn how to create their website or how to set up their email marketing or an online course. And the other thing I do in my business, I'm a tech VA for people that rather outsource these techie things. So I take care of it for them. Now, in this video, I want to explain to you how, the different elements that you need when you want to create a website or when you need a website for your business. The first thing you need is a domain name, and this is where people go if they want to visit your website. So in my case, www.askwelmoed.com, or for Facebook, facebook.com. It's the address you send people to. And you have to purchase the domain name that you want to use. It exists of two parts. You have the extension part, that's the .com part in the end, and you have the name part, that's the beginning where you decide what you want it to be called. Now the combination of the two, so the name and the extension, needs to be unique because only one website can be on one address. That makes sense, right? So if the combination of the two that you want to use is already taken, you can either change the name part or decide to change the extension part. It depends on what you want to do. So then instead of .com, you can use .net or .org, for example. The second thing you need is web hosting. And this is kind of like where you rent space to store the files of your website. So you can compare this to if you have a Word document, you're saving that on your computer. And if you're creating text files and images for your website, these need to be stored somewhere as well. So basically you're renting a piece of a server and your files are going to be stored there. And the companies that sell this are called web hosting companies. So you need to rent that space. Now that will cost you about $3.95 per month. Could be slightly more or less depending on which one you go with, but it's not super expensive. And with some of them, you get one domain name for free. So that's the URL that I discussed in the first point. And otherwise, for domain name, you're going to be spending about $12 a year. Again, depending on whether it's still free or whether someone already has a domain name but is willing to sell it to you, and that could cost you thousands. But if you can find one that's free still, it will cost you around $12. So that's not so much. The third thing you need, so after the domain name and the web hosting, is what's called a content management system, because I'm assuming that you don't want to build up your website from scratch by coding it, right? By learning how to code. So you can use a content management system. And in this case, I recommend using WordPress. You may have heard of other systems like Wix or Weebly or Squarespace, but WordPress is the most versatile and will really help you and allow you to grow your business over time. Most other programs will have an integration with WordPress, and many people are using it. So if you ever run into trouble, there's always someone out there that can help you with it. So I'd really strongly recommend to use WordPress. Now, to make matters a little bit more complicated, there is something called WordPress.com and there's something called WordPress.org. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail here in this video, but just stay away from WordPress.com. And that is because it's very limited for you to change the look of the website. You cannot add specific little programs called plugins to it. It's just very limited. So you want to use WordPress.org. And to make matters more complicated, you don't need to go to the website WordPress.org to use it. Often, if you sign up with your web hosting company, they will have a little program that allows you to automatically install WordPress onto your website. So that's very easy. And the good thing is as well, WordPress is free to use if you use the .org version. Then the last part of the four. So we have the domain name, we have the web hosting to store the files, and then we have WordPress as our content management system. The fourth element that you need is called a theme or a template. And this will instantly make your website look pretty, and it will also help you work on the back end of your website. A theme decides how easy it is for you to work on the back end, and also it decides the basic framework on the front end of your website. So that is what people see, and the back end is where you work on your website, so where you add the text and the images to it. So the one that I recommend is called Divi by Elegant Themes. And this one costs $89 a year or $249 if I'm not mistaken for a lifetime usage of it. So you can either decide to pay on a yearly basis or pay once and then you can have lifetime access to it. The Divi theme is very versatile, so if you ever want to change the look of your website, you don't need to purchase a new theme, you can just change the look of the one you're already using. It's very easy to use as well. It's called a drag and drop builder where you have the different blocks that you just drag into place and you can say, I want an image here, I want text here, and if you want to swap them, it's really easy to just swap the places. It's just super easy to use. And because I work often with people that are not tech savvy, I recommend this one. I'm using it for my own websites as well and for clients' website because it's so easy to use and it's easy to just add content, add images, and just decide on the look of the website yourself. So if you want to start your own website, these are the 4 things that you need. You need a domain name that will cost you around $12 a year. You need the web hosting that's around $3.95 per month. WordPress that's free to use, and then Divi that's $89 per year or $249 for lifetime access. I hope this has been helpful, and if you have any questions or if anything was unclear, feel free to leave a comment because I'd be happy to clarify things and to help you out. That's what I'm here for. I hope to see you soon in another video. Bye!